Hello and welcome to the Free Motion Quilting Project. My name is Leah Day, and this is a blog I started back in 2009 with one goal, and that was to create 365 new free motion quilting filler designs. So the first question you may have is, what is a filler design? This is a particular type of design that you can stitch in free motion, and you can stitch it without marking. You can quilt this by memorizing the simple rules of the design, and then you can use it to fill any area of your quilts. So when I started this project, I knew 4 free motion filler designs. I knew how to do stippling, McTavishing, paisley, and pebbling. And these were really kind of the 4 designs that I stitched on everything, and I stitched them to death. And I was very bored with only having 4 designs, 4 textures to play with. And so starting the blog was really, the number one goal was to come up with more designs, more things to play with. And as you can see from the quilt behind me, clearly that has been successful. This quilt is a compilation of all of the designs I stitched out for the first 365 days. And I stitched everything out basically into a 4-inch square like this. I had extra fabric around so I could hang on to it really easily. I cut them down and connected them together, and that became the quilt behind me. I've also shared all of these designs in a book called 365 Free Motion Quilting Designs, and you can find that on my website at leahday.com. Very early on, when creating this blog, I knew I wanted to share the designs in video. And this was really important to me because I'm a very visual learner. I taught myself how to knit and crochet just looking at pictures when I was a kid. But free motion quilting was one of those things, it's really challenging to learn from a description. Just for example, whenever I write instructions for stitching stippling, I always describe it as stitch a wiggly line that doesn't cross itself. Well, that sounds, obviously this description of it is one thing, but when you see it stitched, it's very, very different. And so really quilting all of these, sharing them in video is very, very important to me. So I stole a camera from my father-in-law that he had bought to shoot pictures of his grandbaby. My son was actually only 2 at the time when I started this blog. And so Chet had this camera that I kind of commandeered and started shooting videos on my sewing machine. And that was really how the free motion quilting project got started. It was just those humble roots, a stolen video camera and a desire to quilt daily, a desire to create something more and something new. And I just started from there. Along the way, of course, I couldn't help but learn quite a lot about free motion quilting and using these designs in real quilts. So we've shared that information in video workshops that you can also find at leahday.com. We have a video workshop just on the basics that'll just kind of guide you through getting started free motion quilting. It can be very scary and a challenging technique to master simply because it's using your sewing machine in a way that it's not entirely designed to be used. And so a lot of times people get into free motion quilting and try it for the first time, and you might see some ugly stitches. And that's perfectly normal. That's actually to be expected. So we have a workshop guiding you through all those basics. And then just recently I created a workshop called Quilting a King on Your Home Machine. And that is all about quilting really big quilts on a small home sewing machine. And finally, the most recent workshop was the Heart and Feather Whole Cloth, which guides you through all of the steps, start to finish, of creating a beautiful whole cloth quilt. So you can see we've really gone beyond just 365 free motion quilting designs. And when I say we, you might be wondering who I'm talking about. This business began with just me running solo and just sharing designs. And then I started a little quilt shop at leahday.com. And then I couldn't handle doing all of it at once. So I asked my husband to come and work with me. And so he began working with me in 2010. And then a few years ago, my dad started working with us as well. So this really is a family-run business. and we all work together to make this content. A lot of times the quilts that you see that are pieced in videos, my dad pieced those. And any orders that you place from leahday.com, my husband fulfills those orders. So to me, this has really created much more than just a blog and much more than just a place to teach. It's created my whole world and my whole business, and it supports my family in a way that I honestly never thought possible. So I feel immense gratitude for this blog, and I'm so thankful that you're here, and I hope that you will enjoy every video in the Free Motion Quilting Project. Until next time, let's go quilt.